Michael Roeske, who we've talked about a little bit, but we haven't run the tape on him yet here. And Roske's a really intriguing prospect for me. One of the things, though, that you talked about, the 27 kid being a man among boys. My Roeske at Watoma is playing against some defensive linemen who are less than half of his weight. And
Yeah.
so it's really tough to suss out at times what's there, what's real, and what's not, because he's just so much bigger, faster, and stronger than everyone. But even with that, his athleticism shines, because there's a couple clips on here where he's playing middle linebacker. Yes, he's playing middle linebacker at 6'8", 290. And so, Clint, when we turn on the tape here, what pops out to me is the overall athleticism and the way that he is able to just move that big body around.
Yeah. Obviously, the first thing that jumps out is his size. That 6'7", 6'8" range. And a lot of the time, people are like, oh, it's not even fair. But what they don't think about, and you're going to see him, blocking space here. It's pretty impressive, like his straight line speed and his ability to get out of his stance and run. But then look at that short area quickness. I mean, he throws the kid out of the bar. Poor kid. But he's the thing that really sticks out is a lot of these big guys, people are like, oh, they should just dominate. They're blocking down on guys. That's hard. So you got to learn to play with great bend. And what he does is, I thought he was a little heavy footed last year, but then you see him get out of his stance and he never goes, well, he goes 1 for 1 there because he was kicking the kid out of the bar again. But, he's always looking for more work. So he does have bend. He does play under his pads. You see it flash. It's not as consistent as you want it to be, but he's a young kid and it's going to be. Look at him get out of his stance, get underneath the guy, just absolutely punish him at the next level. His short area explosiveness, kind of like we saw on that first play where he threw the kid out. It's like he's kind of trotting and then all of a sudden he explodes and then explodes through the defender. And you just love the upside. Once he gets consistent, once he gets a little more body control, which he's already come a long way in the past year, but just the athleticism at his size, the flashes of the bend, the flashes of the consistency, the power, the ability at his size and at his age to look at him run there. He's like a skill kid running down the freaking field. His ability to come to balance while playing fast and violent in space is really impressive. You don't find a lot of young guys with his height and length that are still growing into their body and can do it. But like you said, he's twice the size as everyone on the field, yet he's moving at the same speed as the skill guys. He's a guy that I'm happy we went back and reevaluated him because you saw flashes of it. He's a lot more consistent. He's become a much better athlete. I thought he was a little heavy-footed last year, but if he keeps developing at this rate, he's got a chance to be another one of the great offensive linemen that come out of Wisconsin. His ceiling is high. He's already got the physical attributes. The athleticism is there. And it's just going to be about refining everything, growing into his frame, getting used to his body, and then adding, I know it sounds weird, adding more mass to a kid who's as big as he is, but adding that strength that he appears to already have, but just overall mass. And he's going to be able to hold a lot more weight, and he's going to be able to move the same. I mean, look at him here. Size and athleticism and body control at this stage of somebody's career, you just don't find it often. We have him as a 5.73 star right now. I'd imagine that he's probably going to get some sort of bump moving forward, if not this time, definitely in the future, because there's a reason that all these schools are after him. And a lot of them have seen him in person, worked him out in camp, I'd imagine, and he's going to be a big time player.
Yeah, he is. And, he's got, offer from Michigan. He's got, a lot of these bigger Midwest programs are already coming after him. And, I'm watching that. I don't know if the actual clip came up here on what I pulled, but there was a poor kid wearing number 75 who was maybe 5'4", $135. And it was just like, this isn't
program
fair.
Guy.
Yeah. It's not fair. It's really not fair in some of these, against some of these small school talents. And with that, the learning curve is going to be steeper, especially when it comes to pass blocking, because he's not going against edge rushers who have moves and strength and size and agility and bend. And so I would imagine that is going to be the area in need of most refinement.
Yeah. I mean, like when we go down to the All-American game, these offensive linemen, especially for the Midwest, and they're guys that are killing it right away. Those first one-on-one drills when they got a 5-star edge guy that just blows them up and they're like, I've never even done one-on-ones like this. They got me going up against a future first round draft pick. I didn't know what to expect. They like make fun of themselves. And it's like some guys get, like, oh my gosh, he's got no chance. I'm like, the guy's from the Midwest, never played against a player like that. And then he's in a defensive drill. And of course he's going to get blown up. And then they're playing right away at Ohio State. You know, Carson Hintzman, I know when he was down at the All-American game, I had my stroke. I wasn't able to be there. But they're like, you could tell he was going to be really good. But this is his first time seeing this type of stuff. Now he's starting at Ohio State, you know, his second year there. So, you know, the offensive lineman, it's a process, especially if they have been going up against dudes all the time. But he'll adjust fine. When you've got the physical and athletic skill set, you're going to be okay at the end of the day, especially if you love ball. I'd imagine being where he's from, he loves some ball.